Barakata Yahweh, Barakata Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Barakahak Wadash, Barakatum. First and foremost, I want to give all praises, glory, and infinite honors to Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone who ruled and teach well. In peace and salutations to you sincere Akim out there, pushing this word in truth and sincerity to the four corners of the globe. May you brothers endure until the end. This is the brother Ra'aya coming at you with another video, and I'm going to start it off in Revelation chapter 6, verse 6. And this is dealing with the so-called four horsemen of the apocalypse, which are just symbolic of things that would be taking place during the last days, which we're currently in. Really the last seconds of the last days before the end of the age of the Gentiles, the heathen Gentiles ruling, chiefly of the biblical Edomites, or these so-called white people, and before the ushering in of the kingdom of heaven, where the true children of Israel, who are known as the so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans today, will be ruling in for the rest of eternity. But this is dealing with the black horse. Actually, I'll start up verse 5. And the header on Blue Letter Bible reads, "The third seal, famine. And when he had opened the third seal, I heard the third beast say, 'Come and see.' And I beheld, and lo, a black horse, and he that sat on him had a pair of balances in his hand. And I heard a voice in the midst of the four beasts say, 'A measure of wheat for a penny, and 3 measures of barley for a penny. And see thou hurt not the oil and the wine.'" And I'm going to go into that word penny in the Strongs, which is G1220, denarion, which in the outline of biblical usage says a Roman silver coin in New Testament time. It was the principal silver coin of the Roman Empire. From the parable of the laborers in the vineyard, it would seem that a denarius was then the ordinary pay for a day's wages. And in the ancient world, and according to our laws, statutes, and commandments, a man was paid for the work he did that day. You know, it's not like today, which is complete wickedness, where a lot of people get paid every 2 weeks. So relating this to current times, you know, America is, you know, the Roman Empire reincarnated. So your modern day denarius would be what? That US dollar. So a measure of wheat for a penny, 3 measures of barley for a penny, using damn near your entire paycheck to buy a decreasing amount of goods. And add to that, you know, the cost of living crisis, shrinkflation, inflation, and the US dollar just losing its purchasing power. You've got a perfect storm brewing of chaos on the streets of America, which is coming quickly. But I opened up the video with that verse to preface 2 clips from 2 different YouTube channels to show that, hey, these prices are getting more expensive out here, and Americans are complaining more and more because, you know, the dollar has again lost its purchasing power, and they're spending, you know, damn near, you know, $100, even more, for a decreasing amount of goods. Hey, a measure of wheat for a penny and 3 measures of barley for a penny. But the first clip I'll be going to is on Good Morning America's YouTube channel, and it's titled, "What Can Get More Expensive and When from the Tariffs?" And this is a fair use copyright disclaimer. I do not own any of the footage in this clip, nor do I stand to gain from it monetarily. It is simply for educational purposes.
You definitely want to brace yourself at the checkout line, because everything that you buy could soon cost a little bit more thanks to that sweeping wave of tariffs that Selena just laid out. Let's start with where it hits the most, and that's going to be the grocery store. Look, the U.S. just doesn't produce enough of the pantry staples like bananas, coffee, grains, fish, so expect prices to rise there. Companies like Hershey, Procter & Gamble, behind many of the snacks that we love, medicines and cleaning products, already warning of hikes. Alcohol, that is also on the list. Imports like French wine and European beer could spike as much as 30% by September. And get this, guys, 97% of clothing and shoes sold here in the U.S. is made in Asia. So expect a higher bill just in time for back to school shopping for the kids. And then finally, the big ticket items like furniture, appliances.
And I'll say this, with my current line of work, I deal with foreign wines and alcohol from a lot of European countries. And back in April, when Trump initially talked about these tariffs, I heard the owner of my company speculating about how serious of an impact it was going to have. And at different places we sell to, I've been seeing a lot of people buy products in bulk more than they usually do, trying to get ahead of that price hike.
Electronics, everything from phones to dishwashers, that could jump immediately with tariffs on steel and aluminum jumping 50%. And then automakers like GM saying it's getting a little bit harder to not pass those costs along to consumers. Bottom line, these new tariffs are aimed at reshaping the global trade, according to Trump. But in the short term, our wallets will definitely take the hit.
And it is really eye-opening when you break it down like that, especially the pantry staples,
Yes.
the alcohol, of everything. So Morgan, what can consumers do?
Yeah, it's all about shopping smart. If you're eyeing imports, you want to compare retailers, right? Some may not raise prices immediately, but also watch for price matching programs. Those can be really helpful in this tariff heavy market that we're dealing with, guys.
It is going to.
And most Americans are already trying to shop smart, but stretched thin, working 2 to 3 jobs and 1 paycheck away from getting kicked out of their houses or their apartments or whatever. People are having to make those tough choices. Am I going to pay for my internet this month and not pay for my lights? Am I going to skip lunch so I can pay for gas for my vehicle, etc., etc.? But now, we saw with this first clip, you've got the mainstream media telling the average American consumer to expect prices to increase. And let's go to the ground level with a clip from a Homestead Journeys YouTube channel titled Walmart, which is a lifeline for the majority of Americans out here, just raised prices again, and people can't afford it. A measure of wheat for a penny, 3 measures of barley for a penny. Fair use copyright disclaimer. I do not own any of the footage in this clip, nor do I stand to gain from it monetarily. It is simply for educational purposes.
So we all know that grocery store prices are just creeping up more and more every single day, but Walmart now is also using dynamic pricing. And if you haven't seen...
And peep out how wild what you're about to see is and how deceptive it is.
in your stores yet, you might be seeing it really soon.
Do you know why Walmart is switching to those digital price tags in all the stores? It's to squeeze every last dime out of your wallet. And that little electronic tool is going to help them do it. The digital tag allows Walmart to change the price in real time by store using an algorithm from a centralized database. Hell, an employee might not even know the price changed. Let's say there's a spike in demand for a certain medicine in Philadelphia because of a flu. Walmart can raise the prices in Boston before anyone realizes there's a shortage. And because there's a digital price tag, no one even saw the increase happen. Walmart's supply chain intelligence gives them countrywide insight. When inventories of baby formulas dip nationwide, they'll be able to jack up the price. Who knows, 20%? This is an opportunity to have price manipulation on a nationwide scale. And the public in America has never experienced anything like this because Walmart isn't just content with value. They want margins. So the next time you see that digital tag, know because of it.
They don't believe how
Oh boy, Esau's a fucking devil. You already got prices going up, and now with electronic pricing, within the span of a day or hours, they can just completely change the prices on you. We gotta get out of here.
toxic this is. If you're still using a plastic or wooden cutting board, you need to hear this.
But hey, as it says in Proverbs 29 verse 2, when the wicked beareth rule, the people mourn, and Esau Edom is the wicked of the scriptures. And we can clearly see, from this video and just, the average person out here, that people are mourning due to their current circumstances. But when the righteous are in authority, the people rejoice. when the children of Israel, beginning with the elect, are back in rulership, hey, we're going to govern this planet under the laws, statutes, and commandments of the scriptures, and this ship's going to be turned right side up.
Be a little bit poor.
$17.33. That's how much I paid today for this coffee. I'm here and I'm just adding some numbers together and doing my budget because you know what? Today I asked my husband, where's the money? We're making the best we've ever made. Both earners, both incomes, good incomes and everything, and we don't have money. We're living paycheck to paycheck basically. So I put the numbers together and I decided to look at my budget. On June the 2nd, 2023, and I'm going to try to insert somewhere here the photo. I took a shot of how much I paid for it. On June the 2nd, 2023, the same exact coffee was $9.92. It's almost.
And you see that it's Edomites complaining about this. Esau doesn't even give a damn about his own. So how much more you Israelites who are really going to feel it if Esau, what do they say? When white people catch a cold, black people get sick, so-called black people and so-called white people. But let me see if I can find it real quick. Here it is. I'll go to the chapter. See if there's anything up. I'll start at verse 3 because remember what we just saw. Now Walmart has electronic pricing to where they can just change the prices on a whim. So, they can, hit their profit margins at the expense of the consumer. Riches are not comely for a niggard, which is what you Edomites are. Just look at these corporations, these politicians, hell, these elites. They squeeze you and tax the hell out of you and then fuck you over at the same time. They play a casino and gambling with your money instead of spending your money, to fight these instead of spending their money to fight these wars and inflate the dollar and create these deficits. What do? They use your money. And then, when they get in a bad situation and these corporations or banks look like they're about to go down, what do? They bail them out with your money. Riches are not comely for a niggard. And what should any envious man do with money? Verse 4, he that gathereth by defrauding, which is what Esau Edom has done throughout his history to build up his empire, grape, robbery, and murder, taking people's lands, taking people's identities, taking people's resources. He that gathereth by defrauding, his own soul gathereth for others that shall spend his goods riotously. And when you go to I believe it's Job chapter 18 or verse 20, it says that when the elites are about to sit down at their table and enjoy their NWO, they've got everybody micro C-hipped, which is the mark of the BEAST, and they think they're just going to sell off into the sunset. That's when, nuclear missiles are going to start flying and Yahushua is going to make his second coming to save his elect. And then after the dust settles, Yahushua and the 144,000 are going to round up those elites and take away their riches. As it also says in that chapter, they shall vomit up everything that they stole. Verse 5, he that is evil to himself, to whom will he be good? And as I just said, we're seeing a lot of Edomites complaining about these prices. So Esau is screwing over his own people. And look at how Esau treats the world that he has to live in. He pollutes the air which he has to breathe. He pollutes the water he has to drink. He is just a complete demon. He that is evil to himself, to whom will he be good? he shall not take pleasure in his goods. So, to you so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans out here, hey, you're looking for answers from the very same one that's causing the problems. And for 2/3 of our people that are going to go down to Egypt and Pharaoh, spiritual Egypt and Pharaoh, the U.S. government and the president for help, because a lot of these things are purposely being orchestrated by the elites so that they can bring about that micro C-HIP as the solution. Hey, that's going to be another snare for you to get you trapped and ultimately get you destroyed. I'm going to go back.
It's doubled in 2 years. Of course, my salary hasn't doubled. My income has not doubled. It went up a little bit, but certainly nowhere near that. And I don't know where my money goes. Every month, I'm struggling.
So we get grocery delivery from Walmart.
And hey, this is something that's always been affecting Jake, but hey, now it's starting to affect you Edomites, because these curses are starting to come upon you Edomites. Remember what she just said. It's like, I get money and I don't know where it goes. As soon as I get it, it disappears. This is Haggai chapter 1, verse 6. This is speaking to the Israelites, which, Jake is constantly dealing with empty pockets, but now it's starting to apply to you Edomites. Now, therefore, thus saith Yahweh of hosts, consider your ways. Ye have sown much and bring in little. People are working 2 to 3 jobs to what? Still live paycheck to paycheck. You make a couple of $100 on your paycheck, but after paying bills and other amenities like that, you've only got $20 to make it to the next 2-week paycheck. Ye eat, but ye have not enough. Ye drink, but ye are not filled with drink. And as we're going to see in that clip, you've got shrinkflation hitting. Prices are still going up, but you're getting a less amount of goods. People are really having to budget to, make it by. And imagine how much more so if you've got multiple mouths to feed, but ye are not filled with drink. Ye clothe you, but there is none warm. And he that earneth wages to put it into a bag with holes. And let's rewind what this lady said a little bit.
Paid for it. On June the 2nd, 2023, the same exact coffee was $9.92. It's almost doubled in 2 years. Of course, my salary hasn't doubled. My income has not doubled. It went up a little bit, but certainly nowhere near that. And I don't know where my money goes. Every month, I'm struggling.
So we
Bag with holes. You work much, but you bring in little.
get grocery delivery from Walmart every 2 weeks, and we have for about a year. So I don't change it much. It's pretty much always the same. It's mostly fresh fruits and vegetables, staple goods, household stuff like toilet paper, cat food, a lot of fresh fruit and produce, because that's mostly what we eat. So I decided to look. On average, every 2 weeks, the cost has increased on a standard order, the same thing every week. If I take out everything else, in the last year, the cost has gone up on average 8% a month. In the last 5 months, it has gone up 20 to 22% every month.
So dynamic pricing is a big problem because at one store, the cost of an item could be one price, and then at another store, it could be a different price or at different times of the day. And then remember back in time when you used to look at an ad and plan for the week what you wanted to get at a grocery store because they would highlight what the deals are. You could even maybe cut some coupons. How do you do that now? Because it's just dynamic. So where can we even plan to, save some money during the week if the prices are just constantly changing? And this is not just at Walmart. Other stores are doing this as well.
People are already destroying.
They must stop giving conservatives this free gold Trump survivor coin. Starting
The prices change throughout the day. Plus 10%? Plus 10%?
I spent $100 and it's just me and my husband. I'm like, how are people affording to feed their kids and their family? Oh my God. I spent $100 in just this. This is not a law for $100. It's so crazy how everything's just so expensive now. Oh my God. And I don't even have kids yet.
We all know that we're gonna have to start fighting back soon, right? Because I just spent $100 at Trader Joe's. And let me tell you what I got for $100. Not even enough food to fill the fridge. Not enough food to fill the fridge. Wanna see? That's not full. That's not even enough food for the week. That's not a week's worth of groceries, right? I got a salad for lunch today. I got frozen peas. I got cat treats. I got a chimichurri sauce. I got steak tips, the cheapest red meat they had. I got chips. I got ground chicken. I got chicken breast. I got a package of blueberries. I got a package of raspberries. I got a thing of seasoned chickpeas. I got 4 cans of tuna. Just kidding. 3 cans of tuna. 3-pack of bell peppers. I got 1 single cucumber. I got a bag of arugula. I got a single red onion. I got 2 sweet potatoes. I got 5 lemons. And let me tell you, all of that is $103.93. It's not, we can't keep doing this. Like, people cannot keep doing this. We're gonna have to start fighting back. And I know that might be scary. I know that might be, but like, they're just gonna keep raising prices on us until we do something to make them stop.
You cannot tell me.
And that's exactly what's going to happen, and that's exactly what they want. Ordo ab chaos, order out of chaos. 2nd Esdras 15, I'm going to start at 14. Woe to the world and them that dwell therein, for all the great judgments that Yahweh Bahashem Yahweh Shai is about to bring upon it during Jacob's trouble. For the sword and their destruction draweth nigh, and one people shall stand up and fight against another, one race against another, gender warfare, class warfare, political warfare, citizen versus non-citizen, people going against the government, average person versus soldiers, whether foreign or domestic, etc., and swords in their hands. And that modern day sword in America is what? That kinetic device, that gun. Verse 16, for there shall be sedition among men and invading one another. And the definition for sedition is conduct or speech inciting open rebellion against a ruling authority or monarch, which is exactly what that woman said. They're going to keep pushing us until we have to fight back. And invading one another, they shall not regard their kings nor princes. And your modern day kings and princes are those in the government, from the mayor, the governor, the senators, politicians, the president, the authorities that uphold the system, like the police or the military, etc., etc. It's going to get to a point to where a business suit and a tie, a uniform or a badge isn't going to matter when people's stomachs are touching their backs and they're watching their children starve, and they just can't take the more draconian laws and measures that are coming down upon them. And the course of their actions shall stand in their power. People are going to be getting it how they live in that day, and they're going to be fighting against those in power. You had that famous quote from that devil Henry Kissinger: if you control oil, you control a nation, but if you control food, you control the people. And look at this. This is just even more ridiculous. You would think this is a joke.
Is this for real?
That bag is literally air.
Is this for real? What?
They want us to starve to death, okay? The government, whoever be setting the prices at the grocery store, they want us to starve to death. That's what they want, because look at this. A gallon of store brand orange juice, $8.49. A gallon of store brand orange juice, $8.49. The store brand orange juice is more expensive than the damn Tropicana. They just want us to die. Like, they want us to starve to death. Like, they want to do, survival of the fittest through our grocery stores so that we can't eat. Because I'm just confused how orange juice got to be $10. Like, they've lost their mind. And with the way prices are going right now, more.
They said they wanted to be survival of the fittest out here. Hey, order out of chaos. And it's going to get to the point to where, people are just going to start stealing stuff from stores, which, they're already doing. At some Walmarts, they got to put a little metal chicken wire looking cage over steaks with a sensor on it because people have been stealing steaks in bulk. People are going to be stealing from the stores, and eventually people are just going to be ransacking, their neighbors or anybody's houses. That's how nasty it's about to get out here. Back in 2nd Esdras chapter 15, I'm going to jump down to 19. A man shall have no pity upon his neighbor, but shall destroy their houses with the sword, home invasions, and spoil their goods because of the lack of bread. People can't afford to buy things. And then you're going to have food shortages and famines come as well. So people are going to be kicking in doors to take whatever they can and spoil their goods because of the lack of bread and for great tribulation. All these different calamities that are going to be taking place during Jacob's trouble as well.
More people are actually going and utilizing food banks. People that never would utilize food banks before, but they're going now and they're getting stuff to be able to supplement their groceries because you just can't afford it anymore.
I'm 59th in line at the food bank. Let's see how long it takes and if there's any food left.
5:13 and the first cars have just started moving. After 5 minutes, the line next to me is pushing up. After 10 minutes, we're moving up. This line is shaped like a J and we're coming to the bend. It's been 20 minutes. I'd say we're about 2/3 of the way through the line. And another 30 cars have gotten in line behind me. These are all cars that got in line after.
If you're not already doing so, I really recommend cutting back on prepackaged foods because those are going to be a higher cost.
That's pretty much it with that clip. But hey, you can see the sentiment out here from the mainstream at the top to the working Joe at the bottom. And it's only going to get worse from here on out. The price, they got that saying, whatever the price of things are today is the cheapest it's ever going to be. But now I'm going to close it out in Ezekiel chapter 7. I'm going to read verse 12 in the KJV and then read a few other translations. The time is come, the day draweth near. Let not the buyer rejoice, nor the seller mourn, for wrath is upon all the multitude thereof. I'm going to read the NLT. Yes, the time is come, the day is here, a day like no other. Times of Jacob's trouble. Buyers should not rejoice over bargains, which we're seeing people not being able to find any bargains to rejoice over, nor sellers grieve over losses. You got a lot of businesses shutting up, laying off workers, and closing down stores. For all of them will fall under my terrible anger. Because, hey, you may think you've got a victory here or there, but ultimately, this entire system is going to come down violently. So the only winners are going to be those of the elect who are waiting on the kingdom to come and not going down to Egypt and Pharaoh, the U.S. government, and the puppet president for help. The New International Version, the time has come, the day has arrived. Let not the buyer rejoice, nor the seller grieve, for my wrath is on the whole crowd. Everyone that is wicked is going to get judged. 2/3 of our people in America and you heathens. As it says in 2nd Esdras 8 verse 50, for many great miseries shall be done to them that in the latter times have walked in great pride, which your average American is the most prideful person on the face of the earth. And also, growing to be one of the most poorest people. And what does the Lord say in the scriptures? One of the things he hates is a proud, poor man. But now I'm going to read the contemporary English version. The time is coming when everyone will be ruined. Buyers and sellers, buying and selling will stop. Straight to the point. People no longer being able to afford anything. Sellers no longer able to sell their goods because, people aren't buying it. And, they can't even afford to import shit anymore. The list goes on and on. But I'll read the Good News translation. The time is coming. The day is near when buying and selling will have no more meaning because the Most High's punishment will fall on everyone alike. So that's it with this video. With this video, I hope you sincere Akim and Akwath were edified. Just keep strong. We are almost out of this final wicked captivity of the heathen nations, chiefly of the Edomites. And as always, I'm going to say Abad Babol, Kwam Yasharella. And until next time, Shalom.